fine. Thursday. So, serenity and what they worship around the campus. So we had the tragic incident of the morning or weeks. How could it be so? It's actually devastating, much sorrow, nationwide impact. So we actually frustrated about many things. Okay. In this class, we can exploit the greater chance to retrospect the progress of class, as I like to intend on maker purpose. You see, what we have previously contemplate the presidential immunity and privileges. So I accepted the Nixon case, and along with the Clinton's cause of a public misconduct was private and embroiled into civil action with Paula Jones, the counsel for plaintiff was stressed that nobody is beyond the law. How have you considered the comment? Could it be so? Of course, that is correct when we actually highly exposed the kind of equal opportunity to public office and equal protection of laws, notwithstanding gender or race and ethnicity. Kind of concept is very prevalent. In that case, rather the focus could be shifted about our governance, the framework involving tripartite scheme of government, separation of powers principle. How have you shaped most workable government? We can consider the value about separation of power principle, how it functions to serve the constitutional purpose. What is original intent, drivers of Constitution, the founders of new republic in new Constitution, check and balance. What we once. So if we have some high suspect, not suspected, it could be historically traced, plutocracy argument. There would not be the kind of universal context of democracy. In some cases, they detest the politics. Destructive politics is has surged around the colonial period. What they detest monarchs who impose excessive taxes. They are new generations who like to settle in new opportunity, in new land. They might continue to their subsistence if excessive tax would not provoke. How do you consider? Could it be so? And also the intent, however, could in high timely, since the feudal structure of economy and others, the kind of a spiritual adherence would decline. So new rising wealthy class are now very strong and a major base of society to sustain the production, which is necessary to breed reproduction of society. Kind of concept could be like a Marxist, however, very powerful tool to see through the essences of social dynamism. Okay? So actually, the gene or engineering of a private sector is very ungraspable and could not be completely eradicated to subsist. In the legal system, if you're a student of comparative law class, or else, would also see the kind of coupling between citizenry or the major base of society with the kind of a law, what we call law. What is law? There is a covenant, as I said in last class, and should be respected, objective and neutral. The concept officious bystander is a concept of that of a contrary law. I will also substantively not incorrect, I suppose. And neutrality or objectivity is a very important attribute, quality of law. How do you see the challenges? President Nixon would consider the public regulation could be monopolized by himself and may revoke unilaterally in his own initiative and in accordance with his intent and direction and personal goals. He shifted the previously appointed independent counsel named Cox, a Saturday massacre. So the court would not render it as a law, objective norm that could not be, should not be derogated to be preserved and enforceable in court. It is not law in court viewpoint. How do you consider? One other important element we now seek in order to identify the norms applicable and enforceable would underlie this binding effect. It is crucial touchstone whether it is law or not. The second element would be that if it would be applied, enforced objectively, neutrally, notwithstanding any parochial or sectoral opposition. So it's a kind of institution to constitute community, and no personal appeal could not be legitimate. Without any ground of law. Only remain to be the private relationships. They might work to earn income, others, and activities, economic activities, and social informal relationship. That's a private sector and a kind of bastion to progress the society, improve the society, reform, and what? GNP, what is that? Gross national product. A kind of important engines we consider. So the Paul argument would fairly falter within that dimension. In that case, we talked about the authority, structure, competence, and power of president. And they are the public hands and minds as an agent to advance national interests, promote general welfare, So the issue would be how to shape the limits and exceptions about the presidential privilege or immunities. So the code never say Clinton's misconduct should be exonerated. The issue would be if it should be recognized as a matter of constitutional structure of government to grant temporary immunity or others. The code of cases reviewed in the previous class would be less favorable but more generous to the presidential contention raised by President's attorney. So in the civil action, the district court judge would continue to proceed over evidentiary hearing and others, and also President Clinton should pay for compensation, civil damages about his sexual misconduct in a course of action. The attorney on behalf of Paula Jones is forcible to surrender his with the sexual relationships, and as I've said, the local police officer mediated that improper and publicly condemned illegal sexual activities. So joint action was brought into courtroom. And what others? In Nixon case, Professor Southmay correctly pointed that the over charge of a judiciary, they marginalized congressional law, and also they imperialized judicial innovation without any proper boundaries. So the court could get highly further to perhaps, in his viewpoint, enough to intrude the internal space of other branches. Kind of debate would be structural. Actually, we see a very important concept, probably within the civil law tradition, and your constitutional class would get in that direction, I suppose. So the people is a base to sustain popular democracy. So they are supreme in land. Replacement of a god, perhaps sovereignty could only be founded on that concept, the people of nation. And in the preamble of United States, you see the famous beginning words, "We, the people of the United States." The context is the fortnight, perhaps, to struggle against the King George III, who is greedy to exploit the colonial land. And then, how to symbolize their intention to erect republic? What a long, hidden, and possessive in response to the growth of a capitalist class, bourgeois, what we call bourgeois in French word. So new wealthy class. Their potential is very intractable of history, merely ancient regime would remain to be listed idealistically, but highly objective to be any stronger practically. So the monarch would be pushed to a corner of a historical people. So the trajectory of historical evolution would be indispensable in some scholarly perspective. Notably, Marxist theory would also may be a leading thought to see the transition is inevitable. How much is it inevitable for another phase of history? Is it inevitable from a capitalist economy to communist regime? That could not be simplified. So, in any case, the former Soviet Union would be kind of orthodoxy, however fragmented in 1990s. So his profit would not be incorrect in many practicalities now, and the new route has been favored by many leftists, new leftists in Europe and others.